Ananjana Shalakaya Chaksurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Nena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Tadamaya Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Raghunathan Vitam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pagulangayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Siguru Dinatarinam. So, thank you for coming. I'm very excited. When I talk about the Holy Name, I'm very excited to share what I've learned and discovered so that you can go more deeply in your connection with the Holy Name and your taste. At the Sunday feast, I made a very important point for those of you who weren't there, and even for those of you who were there. I made a very important point that when we have difficulty chanting, when we're chanting mechanically, when we're bored, when we're not energized, when we're distracted, apathetic, and however else we chant, which is not proper, it's generally, if not always, because we have not connected to the Holy Name as a person and a relationship, but as a process, something impersonal, or something, something void of a relationship, and then it turns into a chore. It's like we've taken Krishna out of the Holy Name, and then the chanting is just like it becomes a process you have to do 1,726 times if you want to get initiated, or you want to go back to Godhead, or you already are initiated, and it becomes like, oh, I've been married for 47 years. Do you like your wife? Nah. But I do it out of duty. You know the feeling? Okay, I won't embarrass anybody. Don't say anything if your spouse is here. If your spouse is, just say, no, it's not like that with us. We're on the stage of Bhava, almost Prema. No, we were on the stage of Prema, when we first got married, and it's gone down to like, now we're struggling on the stage of Shraddha, right? You know, it's the dharmic thing. You do it, you don't like it, you do it. And so, I would make a bold statement, and I would say, if that's how we're chanting, it's not really chanting. It won't produce the result, and that's why I would say it's not really chanting. Really, chanting it's something that produces a result. So if you say, I'm doing all these great exercises and eating all this food and everything, and I have no energy, I would think you're probably doing something wrong, or maybe your water is full of chemicals, or your food's full of chemicals, or you're doing all the exercises wrong or something. You're not breathing when you do it, or you just live in Delhi and you breathe the air there. That explains it all, right? I was in Delhi, I was doing a program, we took a break, and I said, take a break, you can go out and get some fresh air. And I went, whoops, there isn't fresh air in Delhi. All the Westerners who came to Vrindavan, we all got sick just from breathing that air, like every one of us. And I never get sick. Yeah. So that's a bold statement, but I can back it up with statements of the Acharyas. Because the Acharyas, Prabhupada was very merciful, and he's preaching in the Western world, and he didn't want to discourage us, so he said, when you say Krishna, Krishna's dancing on your tongue. So it's like, oh, cool, I can just nod out and chant, you don't have to worry about it, because Krishna's dancing on my tongue. I don't have to try avoid any offenses or whatever. Just say, Hare Krishna, I'll go back to Godhead because Prabhupada said 16 rounds, right? But Prabhupada did not say 16 mechanical rounds. He's saying 16 rounds with love, devotion, connection to the Holy Name, absorption, etc., etc. So I think one of the best things I can offer you is just to help you realize that chanting of shnik shnik ram ram, what time I'm going to get finished with my japa, you're not actually chanting. You're just like, you're doing something or else better. Or Prabhupada said, do you know that verse, that purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where Prabhupada said it? Like Mayavadi's chanting or something, it said, they're not getting any benefit other than it's helping their bile secretion. That it's like, you didn't, well, I got some good pranayama. The rounds were, all offensive, but I got some good pranayama. Okay, great. You'll be healthy when you die. Congratulations. And take another birth, Hare Krishna. So I think if I overemphasize this point, there's a reason to overemphasize it, because if we can come to the point where we're really clear on what is proper japa and isn't proper japa, that's the way you learn how to do anything well. You have to know. No, you don't cook it like that. First, you put the water in, then the rice. Otherwise, it's not going to come out right. No, first you put the ghee in, and then the rice, and stir the rice, and then the water, and then the salt. No, put the salt in. There's a system. Why doesn't this taste right? I said, because, I put the salt in before the water, and I should have put it in. It's like that, right? And so it doesn't come out right. It's the same. We should see japa like it has a way that it's done. And why would I want to do it in a way that it's not done? The reason I would want to do it is because we think it's a process. So if you spend so many rounds in the process, you're going to get a result. It's not true. You'll get bile secretion. That'll be your result. And you'll get pretty bored and tired also. You ever got bored and tired chanting God's name? It's embarrassing to say yes, isn't it? Well, here's my idea. You are not chanting God's name because you can't get bored and tired chanting God's name. It sounded like you were chanting God's name, but you weren't. Otherwise, you could. Krishna comes over to your house, and he sits down, and you're looking at your watch. I say, what time are you leaving? No, you wouldn't do that. So if we're doing that with japa, that means it's not Krishna that came. It couldn't be. Have you ever chanted japa, and the only thing you were thinking about is, this is like Chinese torture, and when's it going to be over? Yes or yes? Okay, it just admitted. These are all yes. All my questions, the answer is yes, in case you don't know. So you don't have to think that all the answers, Omji, Bolo, Omji, whatever I ask you is a yes answer. Have you ever chanted japa where it was so sweet that when you had to stop, you're like, I have to go to work, but I wish I could chant more? Yes or yes? Yeah. Why? Because in one japa, Krishna wasn't there. There was just a sound, a mantra, and you're just, isn't it? And one, Krishna was there, and it's like, this is nectar. I could, you feel like I could just keep going, just like whatever, don't stop. Yes? It has to be that Krishna was there in the mantra that you just could chant forever, and you're feeling blissful, and you're feeling special, and detached, and happy, and the other mantra, no, Krishna couldn't have been there, because how could you feel that way if he was there? It doesn't make any sense. He's blissful. If you associate with someone blissful, you don't become miserable. He's light. Prabhupada said, the symptom of Krishna consciousness is that you're happy. And he said, if you're not happy, you're not in Krishna consciousness. So similarly, there are symptoms of chanting properly, and we've all experienced them. And there are symptoms of not chanting properly. So it's so important to understand this is fundamental to improving japa, because you want to catch yourself and go, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Oh, I'm doing this exercise, and I'm not feeling it in the right muscle. I'm feeling it in my shoulder. I'm supposed to feel it here. I'm doing it wrong. I got to do it like this. It's like that. So that's extremely important. And when we disconnect the holy name from the person Krishna, Radha and Krishna, and the relationship we have with them, it becomes mechanical. Then it just becomes a process in a mantra. So, whatever. Make up a mantra. You'll feel the same. I've never done this experiment, but of course it's Krishna, he's in the name, you're going to feel a little different. But I think for us, sometimes when we chant, we don't feel any different after we chanted than before. How could we be chanting the name of Krishna? How can he be present and you feel the same? You can't, it's not possible. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, I didn't make this up. He said, Krishna is absent in offensive chanting. Whoa. But I thought he was dancing on my tongue. Yeah, when you're chanting without offense, but not offensive. Krishna is absent in offensive chanting. Wow. That's both encouraging and discouraging. I hope it will encourage you to chant without offense, not to stop chanting. And so we are going to try to make it easy on you to be able to chant without offense. Any of you at any level of your bhakti. Now, another thing I'm going to say that is startling. I think that's a startling statement, isn't it? Krishna is not present. That's pretty startling, you know. And all my boring mechanical japa is because I've disconnected. That's very important. I remember that I'm disconnected. And there's another one, which I discovered, and this is amazing, and I want to focus a lot of time on this because this can really help you. I just recently did a workshop on Shishastakam. It was a japa workshop, but it was based on Shishastakam. We did it online, so maybe some of you came there. And so in my analysis of Shishastakam, that's what I had to analyze it, and then once I analyzed it, I wanted to take my philosophical analysis and then transform it in how would I apply that practically? Here's a concept. And so when I looked at the first verse and I looked at the second verse, I saw two things that were similar. In the first verse, if you know Shishastakam, it describes 7 benefits of the holy name. And then it says, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Sri Krishna Sankirtan is glorious, it's victorious, because it does these 7 things. Cheto Dharpana Marjanam, Bhavamaha, cleanses the heart. It gets you out of the cycle of birth and death. Mahadevagini Navapanam, Shreya Karyavin. Good for all, the greatest fortune of your life is to have Vidyavadu Jivanam. It's the life and soul of all transcendentalists. Purnam Rita Swadam gives you a taste of the full nectar you crave. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. You know, you don't have to go out and buy a new car to be happy. You just chant Hare Krishna. And it'll keep getting better. Ananda Buddhi Pratipadam Purnam Rita Sarvatma Snapanam. It's a cooling of it actually means it awakens your rasa. That's what Bhaktivinoda said. I think something like that. Sarvatma Snapanam is, it awakens your relationship. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his commentary on this first verse, he was saying that the holy name is glorious because, and then he has a song. Holy name is glorious because it cleanses the heart of the death. The holy name is glorious, it stops through it, like that. And then eventually says, the holy name is glorious because it awakens your love for Krishna. And it awakens your relationship, like who you are in Krishna Lila eternally. That holy name does that. Wow. That's a wow-worthy statement, isn't it? You can all, on the count of 3, say wow. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Here's a mantra. What does it do? Does it give me money? Is it good health? Will I get a better job? Will I get good grades? No, it doesn't do that. It gives you love of God. Whoa. That's way better. Gives you love of God. This mantra, these 32 syllables, if you say it every day for the rest of your life properly, you will one day realize who you are in Krishna Lila. And you will have love. Your love for Krishna will be revived. And you will go back to Godhead in one life. Wow. So basically, to make a long story short, I realized that another reason we get into this mechanical japa is because there's no wow factor. When we pick up our beats, it's not wow, it's like, oh no. You ever done that one? Sri Krishna Chaitanya. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. I got to control my mind. Why couldn't Prabhupada just give us 4 rounds like the Gaudiya Math? Maybe I'll take reinitiation and go to Mahatma. You ever been there, done that one? Yeah. Yeah. I just had a disciple write me. He's like, maybe I'll take initiation and go to Mahatma. I can't follow all the principles. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, if we think what the holy name is and what it does, we're going to say, wow. And then we're going to say, I am so fortunate. And then we're going to say, I'm the most fortunate person in the universe because I have the holy name. Can we say that together? I am the most fortunate person in the universe because I have the holy name. Okay, turn to the devotee next to you and tell them, I am the most fortunate person in the universe. Yeah, yeah. Second, so the first verse is telling us 7 reasons why this is amazing, this mantra. The next, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nijasara Shaktis. You've invested all your potencies, which is in your name, which is another way of saying you are your name, you are fully present. There's nothing about the name there's nothing about you that's not in the name. But, wait, it gets better. Jiva Goswami says, not only is the name fully Krishna, it's actually better than Krishna, because we are not qualified to associate with Krishna. But Krishna in his holy name will let you associate with him, no matter where you're born, what family, what country, what you've done, what time of day it is, what you're wearing, what ritual you did or didn't do, what you ate. It doesn't matter. He'll let you chant his name. You can on the count of 3 say, wow. 1, 2, 3. Wow. That is wow worthy, isn't it? I mean, can you go on the altar and do deity worship if you're not second initiated? Well, if you go, maybe Gaur Nitai, but at least during Prabhupada's time, that was like second initiation. It's like, and to get second initiation, you have to be in Sattva Gun, qualified, be somewhat knowledgeable, clean, and follow the principles strictly, absolutely. And say so many prayers before you go on an achman and do so many things, right? And anybody can go on the altar of the holy name. And the holy name is a murti. Jiva Goswami said it's a murti of Krishna in sound. So you can have that murti of Krishna, anybody. And so now, this is really interesting. We want to wow you. I want to wow you as far as possible. Because the more I wow you, the better your japa is going to be. Because you'll feel like, wow, when you're chanting, you're like, wow, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Isn't it interesting that Krishna is actually running after us? Like he comes down, speaks Bhagavad Gita. Listen, here's the deal. I got a place for you in the spiritual world. Doesn't matter what you've done, who you would, or whatever. It's not a problem, I want you to come back. Just take shelter of me. I'll free you from sinful reactions, and we'll go. And we're like, let me think about it. I got a lot of things to do. I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back to God. What do you got to do? Well, you got a good position in the company. It looks like 5-10 years. I can be this whatever. I'm, 500,000 a year. I mean, this is looking good, Just imagine the house I could live in and the car I could be driving and the vacations I could be taking. Give me time to think about this. I don't know. I'm weighing my pros and cons here, right? Isn't it? Something like that? As I said, all my questions, the answer is yes. Krishna is coming to us, the Supreme Person, like little old us, in these material bodies, we're not like that beautiful. He's way more beautiful than we are, right? He's way more handsome, wealthy, intelligent. He's like everything you could ever want in a partner. He's got it infinitely. And he's coming after us instead of us going after him. That's amazing, isn't it? He's coming after us, and we're like, give me time to think about it. He's like, you've been here since the beginning of time. How much more time do you need to think? So if you think about it, he's willing, he's saying, okay, I'm willing to come and be with you as long as you're chanting my name. We're like, this is boring. What's on my Instagram feed? Yeah, that's more interesting. That's our pathetic nature. But that's the pathetic situation. So if you think, as Mahaprabhu said, you are so merciful that you've come personally, all your Shaktis, you're fully available. It's not somebody else. It's not some part of you. It is you, but it's just in sound. It's not in marble. It's not in brass. It's not in wood. It's in sound. You can have access in sound. I will sit with you. You want to take a japa walk? I'll walk with you. You want to sit down in front of the altar? I'll be there with you. You want to, wherever you want to go, I'll be there with you. You just say Hare Krishna. I'm like, I don't know if I want to chant. Pathetic. Is that pathetic or is that pathetic? So, just for a moment right now, just meditate on the fact that Krishna is willing to be with us when we chant. Come and be. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is willing to be with us. And so just meditate on that. Can you appreciate that? Can you appreciate the holy name? Can you feel special? Wow, I've got the holy name. 8,327 million people don't chant Hare Krishna. There's like about maybe 3 million, or I don't know, something like that. Maybe less, maybe a little more. Let's say, for the sake of discussion, there's 3 million people on the planet that chant japa every day. And you're one of them. And there's 8,297,000,000 or whatever we're up to now, million that don't. That's another wow statement, isn't it? So when you look at all the benefits, like when you're with God, He's going to take you, He's going to give you love, He's going to get you out of this material world in one lifetime. One lifetime. This one lifetime. Impossible. One lifetime. This mantra is special. So, here's my little thing. What I came to understand after I was teaching this, I started thinking, okay, because I always think about bad japa, because I'm always trying to help people overcome bad japa. So I always think, how do we end up in bad japa? Like what's creating it? What's going on in our heart and mind and our lives? It's, we end up like, how has that happened? And I said, when your japa is shnik shnik ram ram, when's it going to be over? I don't want to do this. Appreciation is at 0. That's why it happens. Appreciation is at 0. As in any relationship, before that relationship is destroyed, appreciation is at 0. And when your Hare Krishna is so much nectar, your appreciation is on the top. Isn't that interesting? So therefore, okay, before I go to therefore, my wife is a marriage counselor. And one of the things you do when the relationship has become like bad japa is she asks, what do you appreciate about him? What do you appreciate about her? What did you appreciate when you first met? You have to start talking about what you appreciate, because in that state, you just, what I would appreciate if you just moved out of the house. That's what I would appreciate. Isn't it? She just moves out of the house, I will appreciate her a lot. And so you get them to talk about what they appreciate, and as they talk about what they appreciate, the relationship changes. It starts to heal. It gets better. Isn't that interesting? I mean, It's obvious. So why would it be any different with the holy name? It's the same. Isn't that interesting? It's like we have a relationship with the holy name and we're wondering why chanting is so hard. Well, it's hard to live with somebody you don't appreciate. And so if you just increase the appreciation, it's amazing. So we did some exercises with Japa. Just in Cincinnati we did this. We just try to appreciate like what the holy name is, you know. Appreciate it on an emotional level, not an intellectual level. And devotees are saying it was just completely amazing. It's just like, just that little thing made such a difference. You want to try it? Okay, so I have to say something. Maybe it's obvious, but I have to say something. That often when we appreciate, we're looking for something external to appreciate, and it becomes more of an intellectual than an emotional. Like, oh. So you say, Mahatma, say something nice about this devotee here. Nice kurta. Say something nice about this devotee here. Oh, nice kunti ma. Oh, I like your dress. Nice. That's like, there's no emotion there. It's like you're just like, you're trying to appreciate with your head. So we're not trying to appreciate with our head, we're trying to appreciate through an experience of what we appreciate. So we feel what we appreciate. We don't analyze it. Well, analyzing that shirt is good. Yeah, black and gray is a good combination, very popular. And the way it's placed, you know, and the angle, yeah, it's all like, and what about this guy? Oh, well, he looks good in that shirt. Yeah. So, but if you say, what do you appreciate? He's such a sweet person. He's so generous. He's such a good father. I'm feeling that. That's much deeper. There's emotion there. So that's what we want to do with the holy name. We want to feel it. And so we can chant a little bit, and what we want to do before we chant is just meditate on everything I've said, and don't be so anxious to start chanting. I want you to meditate on everything until this wow bubbles up in you, and you're just like, wow, I'm so fortunate. I want you to feel that before you chant, because if you feel that when you chant, then it's like downhill from there. Your chanting is just going to be so sweet. It's be like, I'm so fortunate. Hare Krishna, I have the holy name. It's so sweet. Krishna's here. And just, I found that's so powerful, just to meditate on it. Krishna is here. Like, it's just like, wow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I just say Hare Krishna. And the Supreme Personality of God is sitting with me. Like me. Like his arch enemy for eternity. And now he's sitting because I'm trying to reconnect and heal myself. So that's the exercise. Meditate on what you appreciate about the holy name. It may be something different from what I've said. I've given you things to appreciate about it. You can add them in, make a kitri, whatever will stimulate you, so you feel, wow, I'm so fortunate to have the name. And then start chanting. And let's see what happens. Okay? And there's no rush. You can take your time. And when you feel it, don't start until you feel it, because it's not going to work if you don't. Oh, simple. Oh, my Govinda, this is so simple. I was thinking about appreciation, and I thought, I have to study appreciation more, because neurologists are saying appreciation is like changes your brain, just like it has physical effects on you. Changes all your emotional makeup. It just goes from negative to positive. It's like, wow, because that's kind of what we're experiencing chanting Japa. And then I said, I got to study this more. So I went to a TED Talk and this guy gave a whole TED Talk on appreciation. And he said, I promise you, if you just say thank you when you get up in the morning and thank you before you go to bed at night, it'll change your life, because it'll flip everything to positive. And then I thought, wow, if that's true, how about thank you before every round? Like, what would that do? And so that makes this appreciation thing so easy. You just say, thank you, Krishna, for coming in the holy name. And each round, thank you, Krishna, for coming. And when you finish, thank you, Krishna. And when you go to bed, thank you, Krishna. You get up. Try that also. Once you get in your mood and you're ready to go, then just say, thank you, Krishna. Now let's see what happens. We'll just chant till about midnight. We've called them and told them that the ecstasy is on the way and we won't be able to stop these people. I'll tell you when to stop. I generally will tell you to stop chanting way earlier than you want to. So I completely frustrate you because I want you to get a taste and then I want you to be frustrated that I stopped you, which is better than be frustrated that we went long and you didn't want to chant. So that's my goal, to frustrate you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, 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 Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Ram. Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Oh Krishna, thank you for coming in your holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Thank you for letting me chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So we'll chant another 30 seconds, so upgrade your appreciation a little bit for these last 30 seconds. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Okay. I know you want to chant all night, but we have to leave time for prasadam. So, what I want to do now is ask you, any of you, to share what your experience was, what you were feeling, what thinking, what you were going through, what was good, what was hard, what was whatever you'd like to share. We'd like to hear it. Anyone like to share? Anyone not like to share? Because I'll. Okay.
First of all, I want to apologize that I came a little late. Myself and Chandra were going to Mysore to the Janmashtami block party permission, so we were late.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. I'm looking for this seminar. I'm chanting. Thank you for reminding me again. Thanking. Thanking. Even the attitude of thanking, I want to thank you for that attitude. So, even if you thank, but getting the attitude of thanking, that helps. I'm really grateful. I don't deserve it.
Say that again.
I don't deserve it. I'm really grateful.
Oh yeah, I don't deserve it.
And then it flows like a normal flow of water. Naturally, how it flows. Not trying to hold it, but just.
Yes.
Sometimes I say they want to shake. They're putting a lot of.
They're fighting something.
People put a bucket on the head and turn towards the wall and the chant. They are good initially, but naturally, it's so natural.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like you're saying what I was saying in a different way. That when chanting is difficult, whatever it is, a bucket of cold water in your head, jumping up, banging your head on the wall. Here's my favorite, Here's my favorite. You sit down, bad japa. You stand up, bad japa. Go outside, bad japa. Come back in, bad, it's like, you're just trying to get in the space and it's bad everywhere you go. You ever have that experience? Yes or yes? Yes. Yeah. So all of that, my sense of it, all of that is as a loss of appreciation. It's just like, I've missed the holy name and I'm in the wrong consciousness and I can't find it inside, outside, in front of my altar, wherever I can't find it because I'm missing that. And we just say, thank you, Krishna, I'm so fortunate. I'm the most fortunate person. That is the most potent mantra to shift you. It's amazing. I taught about appreciation, but I never realized how powerful it was until the devotees started sharing their realizations after chanting with appreciation. And I was astonished with what they were saying. They were saying, this is amazing. This shifted everything. So this is really, really important. And this is something we can take with us our whole life just by saying thank you. And everything, when you say thank you for what? Krishna's saying thank you for what? So you just embody everything. That's appreciable about the holy name. And if you get really good at it, when you say thank you, it just becomes like muscle memory. You'll feel it head to toe. You won't have to sit and even contemplate it. And just you're right there. Yes, you wanted to share.
Yeah. So it is good at the beginning when you make those affirmations like appreciate it, thank you, but it's not still sustained. So maybe 2 or 3 beats, it's good. then you're going back to thinking about something or forgetting that.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully tomorrow morning you'll get past your 3rd bead. What you're saying is you went into your default mode. Right?
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, right. So one thing that I think can help going into default mode is to understand that my default mode is not really japa. It's kind of like, maybe we could come up with a name for it. it's like I go into this, it's kind of like I can tolerate this japa, just like I can't control my mind, so just let it go and just chant, and I'm like, okay, we're going to tolerate this, right? And it's just like, isn't it sometimes like that? Like it's just not a sweet experience. It's like just hard. If you impregnate, and we're going to work on this if we have time today, but definitely tomorrow. If you work on this and kind of impregnate a vision in yourself of what japa is and isn't, then when you slip in on that third bead, when you slip into it, immediately you're like, this is not japa. And it forces you to go back. It's like, I'm not doing it right. Like if you're doing an exercise and you're not feeling the strain in a certain muscle, then the doctor says, well, you're not doing it right, you should feel the strain. So immediately, when you're going from, I feel the strain in my thigh to not, you immediately say, I'm not doing it right. Wouldn't that be good if we could chant japa like that? It's just like, I'm not doing it right because I'm not feeling, I'm getting bored, distracted, apathetic, inattentive. I immediately know, this is not japa, I'm not doing japa, I'm wasting time here. So we need to create that foundation upon which to build the appreciation, because then it'll just remain. You'll be in this like, if I'm doing japa, it's like, okay, everything else is like, it's on hold. Or I say that we have an off button to our minds, we have an off button to our life, and we have to hit the off button when we chant. And when any devotee says, I was distracted when I was chanting, the reason is because the on button is still on. Or you hit the off button, but the on button got hit by accident or whatever. So, if you think of somebody meditating and sitting there, you kind of think their life is, they're off. They're in the forest somewhere, isn't it? It's got to be that way with japa. It's the same thing, just a different way. So if we have that vision, I'm meditating. What do you do when you meditate? You turn everything off. Otherwise, it's not meditation. You're just sitting thinking about your life. What kind of meditation is that? It isn't, right? So I think that's really important, and to embody that. And then the next thing that's important is to embody through your repeated experiences of good japa that this is good japa. Like, it's like, oh, I'm doing the exercise and I feel the stretch here, I feel the pull, my muscle is burning, oh, I'm doing it right. So I kind of, it becomes muscle memory, like this is how to do it. And if you do it well enough, it does become muscle memory. It's like you'll get your beads and you'll just sit up like that. And you're like, oh, I'm chanting. Or you'll get your beads and you'll go like this. This is boring. I don't want to do it. And the way you know what your connection with the holy name is, it's really interesting. I believe. I mean, these are kind of my observations. This is not Shastra, but I'm pretty confident. If you have a good connection with your holy name, when you put your hand in your bead bag, energy will go up. If you have a bad connection, you put your hand in your bead bag, energy will go down. And if energy is going down, you got a problem, like a big problem. This is not good. It's like I was saying, Krishna, you're kind of boring, Oh my God, I got to spend 2 hours with Krishna. Oh, God. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. You ever feel like that to some degree? I'm having issues with my relationship with the holy name. How's your japa, Prabhu? Having issues. When I touch my beads, my energy level drops. My enthusiasm drops. My mind becomes weak. No, that's not meditation. But it should be. You hit your beads and you kind of go in. Now I'm going into this meditation mode. Hare Krishna. Something happens, we're chanting. It's like, this is like going on the altar. It's something like, like if you go on an altar, it's like any of you who do deity worship, or you can imagine if you don't, when you go on an altar in a temple, this is the major leagues, the altar in the temple. It's the real deal, So when you go on that altar and you walk through the door, it's like there's a Bollywood movie, like the music starts and the lights shine, It's like you're on the altar. That's Krishna. It's like, oh my God, Krishna's there, I have to take his clothes off and wash his. It's like, whoa. But it should be that way with japa, because it's the same thing, right? So touch your beads and it's like energy, enthusiasm. And you can't get that relationship unless you have good time with the holy name. It's like, how can I have a good relationship, a positive feeling about a relationship with anybody if all the time we just fight? My sister's coming over from New Jersey. It's like, oh my God, all we do is fight. And as soon as you think about it, you get sick, right? So you don't want that relationship with the holy name. Every time you think it's time for japa, oh no, japa. Can we do it later? You ever done that one? I'll finish my rounds later. What's that a symptom of? Lack of taste. Bad relationship, right? If you're eating a pizza, it's the best pizza in the universe, and you're halfway through, you don't say, maybe I'll finish it tonight. No. That's what you say when, you got to eat something that's really healthy, that's bitter, and you don't like, I'll eat the rest later tonight. Yeah. Later tonight comes, and I'll eat the rest tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning comes, we'll eat the rest after lunch. You ever done that one with japa? It's eternally later. Yeah, that's a sign. See, the thing is, when these things are happening, red flags, red alarms should go off. It's like, I'm not chanting properly. That's why I feel this way. I will not feel this way if I'm chanting properly. So let's be like, okay, I've got to do something. I'm lacking in appreciation. That's the first place to look. Oh, Krishna, thank you for giving me the holy name. I'm so fortunate. This name can give me love for you. That's amazing. You want me to come back to you. Like all these things to build appreciation. When you build appreciation, then you chant. It's really good. And after the third round, if you're back to distraction or whatever, stop and say, thank you, Krishna. So maybe you'll get to five more beads, then 10, then 20. And so just keep saying thank you. And I think if you keep doing that, then you'll... Now, I'm going to read a quote just to scare you. This quote is bad in a good way, but it's heavy. So mantra is not ordinary sound vibration, so we have to keep the mantra in potency, potent by offenseless chanting, by remaining pure. If you pollute the mantra, then it will lose its effect. Srila Prabhupada. Wow. Have you ever heard that one? Pollute the mantra? Wow. If you pollute the mantra, it will lose its effect. So after you're chanting and you're bored and you're falling asleep and looking at the clock, thinking about your breakfast, oh yeah, you've polluted the mantra. That's the sign. Okay, who else would like to share? You want to share? No. You had your hand up or no?
Sure.
Okay.
I think what you said goes downhill. I think I kind of felt that when I started with that feeling of appreciation, it was almost comfortable. I wasn't as fidgety.
Yeah.
But I also did have, it came in waves.
Yeah.
I was comfortable for like a while, but then I started thinking about something else.
Yeah.
And then it comes back, and then I was kind of afraid, like, will it always be in waves?
Yeah.
Will I get comfortable with being away from it?
Yeah. Yeah, I have that fear after all these years also. But the more you practice it, the more you get it, the more it's going to stay. So what's happening? This is probably happening with most of us. What's happening is we have a certain way we're chanting. It's completely like, it's a habit. It's like from head to toe, that's just how we do it. So what we're trying to do here now is do a new habit. So it's kind of like we're in England now and you have to drive the stick shift with and you're like, you're driving the car and you're going like this. No, it's over here. Oh yeah, you keep forgetting. So it takes a while till you. So that's what we're dealing with, and that's the biggest challenge in any kind of program on Japa, whether it's 3 nights or 5 days or whatever. The challenge is we came in with a certain way we do it, and we're learning how to do it a better way. And if we're not really trying to do it better, it will always be worse. I can guarantee you, because it's just the way life is. You know, because we're not on this spontaneous stage where we have like a deep connection yet, right? So we gotta chant in a way that gives us that connection, like it keeps it going. Because if we put our guard down, we just go back to the way we always did it, and that's a danger that we need to be aware of. But I think just thank you. Oh wow, I'm most fortunate. I think that can like have such immediate and powerful positive effects that we can get more mileage out of the japa. And if you find that to be true, then all your fears are gone, because you know whenever I lose it, I just have to say, thank you, Krishna. I'm so fortunate. You're here with me. And immediately I connect. And then over time, you're going to have beautiful experiences with japa, which is going to reinforce that so it becomes easier. Here's another one I realized. I mean, I kind of knew all these things, but the Shashastakam brought these realizations out. You know, the problem of getting up early enough to have time to chant. And think about this, and I think this is true for many of us. If I don't like to chant, and chanting is the first thing I do in the morning, why would I want to get up? Because I'm getting up to do something I don't want. So I would just kind of sit in bed and, you know, set my alarm for a little later. And, you know. But if chanting is something I relish, then it's going to be natural to get up just like that, because it's time for japa and I want to do this. So that's something to consider, because I think we have experience of that. I mean, that's kind of like sad, isn't it? The first thing you do in the day is the thing you least want to do. Like you're getting up on the wrong side of the bed. You want to make that something you want to do. Like this is, yeah, sweet, can't wait to do it. It's my time alone with Krishna. Every morning, I can have time alone with Krishna. Wow, that's so sweet. Yes. Who else would like to share?
This appreciation is like, even though like one day I'm not doing chanting properly, Krishna give one more day opportunity.
Oh yeah.
So even like, that's one of the appreciations.
Yeah,
like,
beautiful.
every day.
Yeah.
So every day we'll forgive, like forgiveness before.
Yeah.
After chanting,
Yeah.
Krishna I do properly, but again the next day same. Like there's no opportunity.
Yeah, but don't take advantage. Because Krishna's going to look at you at some time and goes, who's this loser? Every day he says, forgive me for chanting bad, and he chants bad every day. You know, it's like, go to hell. You know that joke? This man went to heaven and they were checking to see if his name was in the book to let him in. And said, your name's not there. And he goes, there must be some problem. I gave $5 at church. So the angels, whoever's at the gate, was like bewildered. Oh, he gave $5 at church. So they went to God and said, he gave $5 at church. You know, he's a sinner, but he gave $5 at church. And God tells the angel, say, give him his $5 back and tell him to go to hell. So that's why I was saying, Krishna's like, go to hell. Stop giving me this forgiveness thing every day, you know. Yeah. But forgiveness is part. We're gonna do something about forgiveness. We have to be out of here at 9 o'clock. I understand. I heard the lady say. And we have prasadam, is that? Yes, we have prasadam. So I just need to know what time we need to like officially stop so we can begin serving prasadam, so we can get out of here by. So we'll go to 8:20. Okay. I'm a little spontaneous when I do this because I just want to go with the flow of what you're feeling and thinking. So do you have any questions about what we've talked about so far, or you want to share? Question?
Prabhu, so been chanting for 50, 60 years. Initially this awareness was not there in any form. Over the period of time, things have evolved.
Yes.
The distribution of compliance, some special teaching of politics Japa was never an emphasis.
Yes.
When was the time you felt that was much needed and you want to do it yourself and share with others? What inspires you that?
A lot of bad japa. And this is the Hare Krishna movement. Yeah. Have you noticed that? It's called the Hare Krishna movement. I thought it was called the, you wouldn't know that. You'd probably think it's called the Eat Prasada movement. Wouldn't you think that? You know, if you had to give it a name based on what you see, you'd call it the eat overeating movement. Chanting, dancing, and overeating. Yeah. What actually happened, what my realization, I was involved with the Japa retreats, not by intent, but it came to me. So we got to work with Satyananda Swami and understand what he was doing. And my sense of it was that we weren't like mature enough to really appreciate that we needed to chant better. And as devotees hit a certain level, it was kind of like, what do you call it? Everyone has the same consciousness, one mind. I forget what you call it. There's a word for it. Collective conscious. It was kind of like a collective consciousness in ISKCON. All of a sudden, everybody's like, we need to improve our japa. And it was mystical because Satyananda Swami was starting to do it. And so I kind of felt like Krishna inspired him to do it at a time when people would be ready for it. So all of a sudden, so many devotees were like, yeah, japa retreats, we have to do this. And the first japa retreat that Maharaj did in America, Giriraj Swami went to it, and in his testimonial, he said something like, this was the most profound experience I ever had in my Krishna consciousness. And I was thinking, he was with Prabhupada, who knows how many hours he spent with Prabhupada. We're talking hundreds, maybe thousands. And he's saying this was the most profound experience. And so what was happening, it was like we were taking the wrapper off the holy name. It's like I was, I could kind of, when the wrapper's on, you kind of can almost taste it. And you take the wrapper off, it's like, oh, I had the wrapper on. So it was like the Japa retreat, we took the wrapper off the holy name. It's like, oh, this is what the holy name is. This is amazing. So everybody was ready for it. And I just think maybe we weren't ready for it at that time. I don't want to say everybody was not chanting well, but I don't want to say everybody was chanting well. And I can say for myself, I had some good days and okay days, but after doing the Japa retreat, it was like the whole thing just got pushed up. If moment my japa is like this, from bad to good, the whole thing just got pushed up. The bad wasn't as bad and the good was better. So, and we could apply that to us. Everything you're learning here, it's not going to work if you're not anxious to improve your japa. So that's what's required. Another realization I had was that when I chanted good rounds, it was like all the spiritual advancement I could ever imagine making from going to Vrindavan to reading Bhagavatam all day, everything, as if I chanted my good rounds. It was like better than all of that. And we had this experience. This was really interesting. We all go on parikrama, and I've been many times. And then when I did the first japa workshop, I said, this was better than going to Vrindavan because it improved my japa. And it never improved by going on parikrama because we never focused on it. Go on parikrama and chant your japa in the morning, talking blah, 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 Look at that bird, isn't that cute? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, But this was like focus on japa, and the effect of that was like, it was so powerful. So these kinds of experiences are really valuable because it gives you the samskar that kind of can push you up, and because you realize, I don't want to mess this up. So I have a theme now. My theme for japa now is we cannot afford to chant bad japa. We are not that Krishna conscious that I can afford it every day, day in and day out, week after week, month after month. That's dangerous. I can't afford it. I cannot afford bad japa. None of us can afford it. And I think that's a good meditation. To remind yourself when you're chanting bad japa, like, what am I doing? It's like, I can't afford this. I need, like men when they do push-ups, they got all kinds of ways to do push-ups, You don't want to do them like this. want to do them with your arms like this. Sometimes you do it on your fingers. Sometimes you do them in the clap. There are all these ways. And then women, their arms aren't so strong. So generally for women, they do push-ups on their knees. So if you're a man and you do push-ups on your knees, it's like, it doesn't do anything for me, because it's like pushing feathers or something. So I kind of feel that way.
These mantras have to be in the clean state.
Well, here's the bad news, or good news, depending how you look at it. You don't have to chant the Panchatattva mantra. That's an urban legend. Prabhupada never said it. You can, I do, but I don't chant it before every round. But Panchatattva mantra doesn't take offense. So you can chant it in a dirty state. Get out of bed and just wash your hands and Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Yeah. Yeah. If you're clean in your mind, if you're sincere. When Prabhupada lived in Vrindavan in the winter, he didn't take a bath till noon. It was too cold. He had water on the roof so it would warm up, and he'd go to the roof to take a bath. So, So like I get up early, so if I take a shower, my wife wakes up. So I just get up and chant, in my dirty clothes, whatever I slept in, because it's just the way it is. What to do? What to do? Kya hai, Baba? And you know the story when Mahaprabhu was chanting in the toilet, and he was saying, I shouldn't chant in the toilet. It's offensive. It's the holy name. And this little Gopal said, but you could die, so you should chant. And Mahaprabhu said, yeah, that's right. So even he said it's okay. I don't know how the smarter Brahmins are going to deal with that. They're all going to faint when they hear that. But I think Mahaprabhu arranged that Leela for a good reason. Don't you think?
But
Yes?
the chanting was not on the beach.
Not on the beads. Well, often Mahaprabhu, yeah. Yeah, you don't bring your beads in the toilet. But, I lost my beads because I left them outside the toilet. So I bring my beads in the toilet. Not at home, but I put my beads outside, went to the toilet, and I forgot. And I went back, and the people who were cleaning the park they struck it rich and got some beads or threw them away. I don't know. So.
Just this question was the intent was, do we need to create a mood like cleanliness and some preparation before going into the chanting?
Yeah, there's this book. It's amazing. It's called Japa Affirmations. And now we have Japa affirmation cards. And now we have Japa affirmation posters just to get you in the mood. You put all the cards out, look at them. Put the poster up in your... Yeah. If you go over to the table, you'll see this poster. We have cards, each affirmation card, and then we have a poster also. It's really... I think the poster is so cool. It's one of the coolest things I ever did in my life. Yeah. So you can get the cards and the poster, or both, one or the other, or both. And so each one is the affirmation. And so, we should see, here's the thing. If you practice getting in the mood, this is my discovery. If you practice getting in the mood and you perfect it, then you can't chant japa in the wrong mood anymore. It's not possible. It's like an athlete, They're good at what they do. If somebody's really, imagine you've studied an instrument since you were 5, like the violin, and now you've been playing for 50 years, And I ask you, can you play bad? And you'd say, I don't know how to play bad. You can't play bad? I don't know. Isn't it? Ask Shakespeare, could you write a bad play? I don't know how to write bad plays. Isn't it? Like a good manager or a good leader. Could you mess up this company? Probably. And they couldn't just spontaneously do it. So wouldn't that be nice that you get to this point by practice of being in the mood that just by touching your beads, it's like, the robot gets turned on. Hare Krishna. You just go into the mood. So that can happen. That definitely can happen. But you practice it, pulling in these moods. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. Like every time we do this exercise, I say, don't start chanting until you feel the mood. All the exercises I do. And I start chanting right away, and I'm thinking, maybe I should wait, because I don't want people to, but I've embodied it, so I don't have to think about it. I just feel it. It's like I don't, people say, do you read your affirmations? They're embodied. I don't have to read them, So you embody it after a while. You become personified affirmations, personified appreciation. That's the beauty of making the effort to do it, because then you get to, it becomes so easy. Then the rest of your life, japa becomes easier and nicer and sweeter, and you want to chant. Wouldn't that be nice? Because you're going to chant the rest of your life, so wouldn't it be better if it was easier? Yes or yes? Of course, right? It's kind of like we're torturing ourselves by not creating the right moods. And I think it's just easier if I just sit back and chant. It's not easier. It's easier if you try. Is that okay? Yes?
I wanted to share a realization and then ask a question. When you mentioned about the gratitude and my meditation was the same Krishna that comes to Prahalad is now coming to me as well.
Wow, nice.
And that went very well, like Prabhu said, maybe 10, 15 beats, and then it was back to monotony. And I felt that maybe when I'm doing...
Let me make a comment. This is really weird. We know that often when we chant, our mind is everywhere except on Krishna, which is interesting since we're chanting Hare Krishna. Like, Prabhu, how do you do that? You chant Hare Krishna, but you think of you're in your office, you're in the kitchen, how do you do that? You have mystic power.
It's not mystic power. He's not focusing.
So it's like getting in the mood, everything, Krishna, and then as soon as I chant Hare Krishna, it's time to think of everything else but Krishna. So, we need to look at these things, and I find there's great power in looking at the weird things we do and just say, there's something wrong with this picture, it doesn't make sense. So we're personalists, and then we chant Krishna's name, and then we forget about him. So it's like, I was a personalist until I started chanting japa, and then I became an impersonalist. It's like, it's weird, isn't it? Krishna's here in my mind. Yeah, so what's your question?
The question was, speaking of making it a habit to do good japa, I think it's also built around routines. Like for me, I know I have to do japa before 6:30, otherwise it's horrendous quality japa. Which means I have to go to bed by 9:20 in order to wake up at 4:30. And when that routine is able to be upheld, great. But if I traveled or had a long work day and that just didn't work, then I ask myself, am I so fragile that one day you disturb your routine and there is no coping mechanism? You just fall off the cliff, japa cliff.
Yeah.
And so how would you suggest to be more resilient, I guess?
Well, I don't know if there's only one answer, but one of the answers may or may not work for you, but one of the answers is what we have observed is that when japa becomes more important and you're having better experiences, even when you get thrown off, you'll think, okay, so how is this going to affect my japa now? Like, I'm going to have to work late. And as you're planning, you're thinking, japa affected japa. And then you're thinking, well, maybe I'm going to go to bed at 10:20 and get up at 4:30, because if I don't, I can always take a nap at my desk or something, but I can't get that 4:30 to 5:30 hour back. So it's interesting. It's interesting how many devotees who went to Japa retreats started looking at their life and how their life is affecting their Japa. You know, just like what you read, what you eat, you know, so on and so forth. And we never used to think like that. Or maybe not, we did, but not so much, not so consciously. But it's like, okay, you know, I'm working on something tonight and I really want to finish it, but I have to stay up late. It's like, ding, 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 ding. If you stay up late, what's going to happen to your Japa? No, I'm not staying up late. When I'm not attached to my Japa, I'm staying up late, I want to finish it, I want to get it over with. Interesting, isn't it? So, and you can apply that to many things in your life. If I eat this at this time, if I watch this, if I go here, how would that affect my Japa? So, you're 100% right, is you have to create an environment that's conducive. So earlier in the morning, quiet place, whatever internal environment. And sometimes it's hard to get the internal if the external is not there. And so knowing your own limitations, knowing what you need, and then if Japa becomes, a good Japa becomes really important to you, it's easier. You'll just naturally tell them, I can't work, I just can't work past this time. Or I can, but I'm coming in an hour late. Then you get your Japa in. You become more concerned about it. And if we're not, it's not a good sign. If we're not concerned, we're like, I'll stay up late, whatever, I'll chant my Japa when, whatever. That's like a no-no. And if you're doing that, that's a sign you don't care about your Japa. You're just doing what I call courtesy Japa, just getting around stuff. Definitely, it was a big thing at the first Japa retreat I went to. That everyone was coming away like, oh, my life, I got to reorganize a few things, because like you're saying, you get thrown off a little bit and it throws your whole Japa off, and then that's like, well, another day wasted. Just schnick rom rom that one. You know the schnick rom rom. It's like, what are you doing? Do your push-ups properly or don't waste your time. Some people say, well, should I not chant any? What's better to chant? 4 good rounds or 16 bad rounds? The answer is not what you think. Prabhupada said in the lecture, I heard it, I was so happy to hear it because I was teaching similar things. He said, you're chanting, he was making fun. He said, you will not get Krishna prema by chanting like that. That is not the way to chant. He said, but at least you're chanting your 16 rounds. So what did he mean? My understanding is he divided 2 things. One is your vow. So at least you're keeping your vow, but you're not going back to Godhead. But you made this vow to your guru, so at least you're doing your ram ram, snick snick ram ram. So at least you didn't give that up. But what's the point? It's not going to give you prema. So it's like, I'm doing it kind of, but not really, because it's not really the way I should do it, but I made this promise I'm doing. So he said, very good, you kept your promise to do it. And very bad, you're committing offense and you won't get Krishna prema. So all these things can help our chanting, this understanding. Yes? What do you think?
I think it helps.
Yes.
It does.
Definitely. You didn't know all these things, did you? Or did you? You knew something. Yeah. And the interesting thing about this is when you think about this is all like, oh yeah, that's just common sense. That's the most interesting thing. Yes, you had it. Or both of you, I don't know.
Time of kind of 2 different questions. Time of the day, should we do everything in the morning or split it into evening so that we can have a refill in the evening? What is a good one? And the second one is, can we chant lying on the bed?
Yeah, if you're dying, if you're healthy. Well, my answer to your second question, if you want to chant really bad rounds, yes, chant lying on the bed. It's like asking, You know, it's like, should I study for my final exams lying on the bed? It's probably better you sit up, you know. And I read this book like, probably better if this is, you know, you got to pass your MA or whatever, you probably should sit up, right? The first question is interesting because my answer to the first question is yes and yes. The morning's the best time, and I've had such good experiences chanting good rounds in the morning because I chanted rounds late at night before I went to bed. Like I chanted 1, 2, 3 rounds. I mean, wasn't planning to, but I had to. And usually my rounds were always good in the morning because I went to bed chanting. You know? So they say, you know, whatever you do right before you sleep, it's like what you're dreaming about. So yes, chanting in the morning is the best, and chanting in the evening is, or whatever you said, re-energizer is good. And I want to say something else about it because our experience is generally chanting in the morning is better because the morning is sattvic, it's a sattvic guna. So the morning is the best time of day for meditation. But the problem is when we have good experiences chanting in the morning and bad experiences chanting later, then we always assume it's going to be bad later. And so, have you ever done this? This one, this is interesting. And we have to stop so I can take prasad. Okay. This one's really interesting. All your rounds in the afternoon or evening are bad. All your rounds in the morning are good. So when you have like 4 rounds left, you make sure you chant bad rounds because they're always bad in the evening. So you're already planning to chant bad rounds because that's your experience. You ever have that one? Well, it's, you know, day to night, they're always bad at night. So your intention is to chant bad rounds because you know you can't chant good rounds. Yeah, well, you can chant good rounds at any time, but you have to, you know, it's a little harder at 8 at night and you're tired, but you can, so don't make that mistake. We're going to end now, we're going to take prasadam, and we have books and on everything you need to know to go back to Godhead, and be happy while you do it, and make it easy for you. Yeah, I would say these books will try to make it easier for you on your way back to Godhead. So take a look at the books, we'll take prasadam and Hare Krishna. Oh, I'm supposed to chant Brahma Samhita. Now you have to come on Wednesday for that.
We will.
Make sure you come. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaur Premanandi.